Uh, so again, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a really, really extraordinary day today. Thank you all for joining us here at the World Industrial Design Day, which is an initiative and a celebration, which is a kind of a tradition for a very long time by the World Design Organization. And we as proud members are also celebrating it today. CMR School of Design is celebrating the World Industrial Design Day. We have an absolutely extraordinary theme this year that was set by WDO, and I'm very, very happy about it. It revolves around emotions. And so today we have some absolutely extraordinary guests with us who have done a lot, who have been through a lot, who have seen a lot, who have designed a lot, who have competed a lot. And I'm really hoping that more than anything else, this webinar is a fun one today. I would like to introduce on behalf of World Design Organization, Mrs. Sonia Manchanda, who is on the board of directors, and it's a great privilege to have you here, Sonia. I'm very, very happy that you could join us, and I'm hoping that you would be here. I know you're organizing a big event at Spread. Sonia also runs a very exciting design studio, which has worked on some absolutely amazing projects nationally and internationally. And so later on today, there is an amazing event that she's conducting as well under the aegis of the World Industrial Design Day. And just a very, very brief introduction here. Sonia, if you could lend us 5 minutes from the point of view of WDO and talk about why are we doing this today?
Thank you, Sandra, and I'm really happy that we are doing this. The fact that it's an opportunity to get together as community, and I think that is the most important connection that we're trying to foster at the WDO. So while the WDO has been around since 1957 and there are over 200 member organizations, now we have about 10% of the organizations are from India, and it's a sign of things to come. Yes. And that's why we need to get together more often. We need to talk about these things more often. We need to share our stories more often. So overall, the WDO, of course, has been sort of created to be the premier design organization. It's the WHO, the equivalent of that for design. And therefore, we look at how we can advance, the profession of design and its economic, social, cultural, environmental impact, while of course looking at business and brand and things like that. So how can we actually take things forward collectively? So that is really the agenda. And emotion, of course, plays the biggest role in design, and we in the East understand it much better, I think, than even in the West. And we must leverage that, right? I have a small story for you from my own experience. In 2010, we got to pitch for the design of the Commonwealth Games, and we wanted it to be as Indian as possible with global standards. So we decided that this pitch we have to win, And while there were people who had done many games before, there were some 80 companies pitching, we actually managed to sort of win the pitch because we understood the Indian emotion around sport, that we don't go out and play enough. So the line we came up with was come out and play, was just come out and play. And the logo we created was one where we took the chakra in the Indian flag, and spun it out like that. So it was the energy of that kind of actually made sure that we won so many medals and so much happened. There was a lot of other rubbish that happened around it, which was more governmental. But I think we did our job really well because we understand. And I think the most important thing about being designers is to be sensitive. So it's not just about being emotional. Being emotional is a little bit about being sentimental, where you you feel too much for everything, and you can fall apart too easily. On the other hand, versus sentimental, if you're sensitive to the changes, you're sensitive to the positive things we need to do, and you design with that sensitivity all the time. And I
Yes.
think that's really what, for me, Let's Get Emotional is far deeper than what it seems like, you know. And so it's actually truly feeling for things and being sensitive towards the environment. And I'm really, really happy that you're bringing together sport, where you can't win unless you're really emotional about it. You know, you can't play unless you're really emotional. The sheer effort it takes with design, which is pretty much the same. I think they're both the same in a way, and bringing them together is a beautiful idea. So all the best with the day, and here's to many, many, many more of such community meetups and interactions.
Thank you so very much. And thank you for such a warm introduction, and as well as setting the context of the conversation. And while we have shared today with our speakers some of the broad structure which we would like to address today, things like how does design influence emotions in sport, how does design help sports women and men build their emotional intelligence, and how do we deal with failure? How do we deal with success? How do we build our discipline? All of this requires emotional investment, and definitely from our end as designers and as a design community, we have got to take that into account, especially when we are designing for sport. And then finally, as you rightly say, how do we make our environments more inclusive and inducive for everyone to participate and lead a better life and enhance their well-being overall. So this is the bigger question that we will try and revolve our conversations around today. Thank you again, Sonia. So now very brief introductions of all of our speakers and panelists. We have here Muki Regunathan, who is the founder and chief experience officer at Pepper Square, both present in India as well as the USA. I didn't know, I mean, Muki is a very dear friend, and I didn't know that he has actually gained a massive following on Instagram alone. He has something like over 23K followers. He's a great propagator of healthy living, and especially talks a lot about healthy food. He also, I mean, so apart from this, of course, as a designer, he runs a very exciting firm that has dealt with many different projects, including massive brands like Airbnb, Darden, Honeywell, Walmart, Microsoft, Target, Amazon, and it says here 300 more. Like, Muki, I don't know you enough. And he also conducts a lot of workshops, and is a passionate flutarian and a djembe drummer. Today he will talk about an exciting theme, which is essentially how do you design victory in sports? How does design elevate emotions in sports? Thank you so much for joining us, Muki, and looking forward to your 15 minutes. We also have with us here Joshua Vasanth, who is the founder and CDS. I'm horrible with abbreviations. We're going to discuss what that means. And his name is Vasanth. His last name is Joshua. I made that mistake, so I'm correcting here myself. He runs an exciting creative firm called Find Creative, and he's talking to us today from Mumbai. He's also the Young Can Lion. So kudos for all of that. And he's going to be talking about an exciting topic. He's named it Obsession Beats Talent. I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, from the point of view of a designer, how does that actually contribute to our goals in sports, right? We have then the man himself, the Iron Man himself, Ashfaq TP, a very dear friend who's an Ironman and a speed demon. He is a triathlon competitor and a founder director of Gear to Gear India, a company that deals with supercars, with superbikes, with super bicycles, and anything that moves, essentially, any kind of equipment that moves. Ashfaq, are you here with us? If you could just switch on your camera and say hello to the audience, that would be hi.
Yes, Sandra, hi. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to your topic, which is the triathlon experience.
Thank you.
From my team, from our team, from CMR School of Design, today we have two of our designers also presenting. Professor Pratik Bandari. Hi. And I'm looking forward to his presentation. I haven't seen any of your presentations other than Josh has shared it very briefly. And Pratik is going to talk about products, emotions, and environment. I'm looking forward to this very much. And we have Professor Shubhamay Basu, who's the lead faculty in communication design. He's going to be talking about designing emotions in sports. After these presentations, or rather while these presentations are going on, I would request all of the audience, please post your questions into the chat box. We are collecting them over there. And once we are finished with the presentations for the day, we will address some of these questions and we will open a panel to answer these queries. So let us begin. I think, I hope I haven't overstepped. Oh, I did overstep the time. So let's start. Muki, how do we design victory? Is it possible to design victory? We have seen in the past some really extraordinary sportsmen, nationally, globally, and we do see that there is a moment of design. Whether it's something that we deal with as our internal goal setting process, or something that we actually put down on paper. And of course, coaches, our environment, the equipment that we use, all of it plays a big role. And is it possible really to design victory in sports? I'm really looking forward to this. Please take the scene, take the stage.
Thank you. Can you see this?
Yes, we can. Although it's not yet full screen, we are looking at your desktop.
I made it full screen. Do you see it now?
No, not yet.
Hold on a second. Just hold on a second.
Sure. I would request, while we are getting ready to set this up, I would request the audience to mute their mics. If we haven't done that already on their behalf, so we don't interrupt the speakers and their presentations. Thank you so much.
Do you see it now?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So, very good morning to all of you. This is a very difficult topic because there are three solid questions which Sandra, mentioned in her document. So I thought that I should not go away from there. And it took me almost 5 days to research on these. There are so many things I came across. I thought I should share it with you. Some of them I use it personally, which I wanted to share that with you so that you can take home something and then think about it. So how design elevates emotions in sports? That's the topic which I picked it up. I always say that to the people whom I meet, whether it's clients, prospects, or teammates, that art is personal and design is global. So when we design something, every human being should be able to use it effectively without any frustration or confusion. And this is hardly a 5-slide presentation. I want to keep that in mind that I have only 15 minutes. So to me, design is storytelling, because design embodies values and it illustrates ideas. It delights, surprises, and urges us to action. To me, design is problem solving. As human beings, we actively seek and create patterns as we navigate the world. Because every time we come across challenges and frustrations, and only design helps us to navigate that smoothly. We feel intrigued, many times simulated, and sometimes frustrated when the patterns break that. For example, when you drive in India and then suddenly you go to America, you're going to drive in the opposite direction. So it takes some time for the brain to rewire. Design to me is progress. Design is about hooking the user to take actions and change their behavior. The great example I can give you is 10 years ago, we used to get up and brush our teeth first. Today, we get up and check our WhatsApp. It's changed our behavior completely. The last one is design is a flow. Flow is a state of mind where creativity comes to you through your natural intelligence. It's not necessary that it comes from knowledge, because most of the time, knowledge brings bias. Design is all about removing the knowledge bias and go to the core of human intelligence. So it's about predicting potential journeys that are yet to happen by removing uncertainty to make sure that we don't slow down as human beings. How does design influence emotions in sports? The Alliance Arena in Germany is a beautifully designed stadium. It is known for its dynamic exterior lighting that can change colors to match the team which is playing. Look at that on the right side. It's so beautiful. What a brilliant idea, but it's very simple. This creates visually stunning and emotionally charged atmosphere for both teams as well as the fans who are coming there to experience that. The seats are supposed to have designed to create an acoustic advantage, enhancing crowd's impact on the game. So they say that when people make noise and then it's not an echoing, but you can very much hear as an athlete who's in the stadium, and it's beautifully synchronized. And this makes the experience more intense and exciting for the spectators. How can design help sports and emotional intelligence of the sports person? It's very important for us to understand that to achieve the impossible, which is what happens with most of the sports, while keeping in mind the energy generation of the body, because the body creates only so much of energy. How do we make sure that we contain that and use it effectively based on all the environmental challenges is the critical factor in design. So enhancing performance through design has two categories. The first one is its equipment, ergonomic equipments, and then the second one is training facilities. So comfort and safety are the paramount importance today, because the athlete who's training should never get physical comfort or fear of injury, because fear of injury is the most difficult thing mentally that creates tremendous amount of stress. So what you're seeing is Vibram shoes. These are also called 5-finger shoes. I've been using them for the last 9.5 years. You'll be surprised the current shoes most of you are wearing, which is 99.9% of the time, except the sandals which we use, all the shoes are poorly designed. They are very, very old. They close our contour of the feet and doesn't help you to move. So Vibram is the only shoe in the world which is designed to fit the contour of the body. This is also called This is also called the no sole, no sole shoes, and it's fantastic once you start getting used to it. And the body, do you know that each feet has 2 lakh nerves connected to our brains, to our entire body? So when you use Vibram shoes, it works on acupuncture basis and it helps you to rejuvenate your entire body. On top of that, it also helps you to get grounded to the earth so that you can charge electrons through that. The performance optimization today has enormous amount of advanced materials and innovative designs. And these are all used to make sure that how an athlete can gain competitive advantage. I was doing some research, the amount of advanced material they use in cricket in India, it's just mind-boggling. These have moved away long time back from plastic to the helmets, what they make today, from titanium to carbon fibers. It is not only light, but it's extremely orthopedic design. It doesn't help, it doesn't affect your neck. It's phenomenal design. The other is training facilities. Training facilities, especially in India, which is coming up very slowly, but across the world, it is going at a different pace, which is at a very higher pace. So what you're seeing here is the cycling apparel, which is made of a very thin elastic material, which hugs the shape of the body. So I was just doing some research, and it was a mind-boggling experience for me to read that. They were saying that the earlier days when they used to use buttons and it was tight still, but the airflow used to go there and it used to bloat that, and that slowed the entire cycling experience. And these designs, which just stick to the body, helps the athlete to cut through the air and travel faster. More than that, it is the same power you are using to pedal, but what happens is you move faster. And it's amazing to see that. I'm very interested in aeronautical engineering. My uncle used to be an aeronautical engineer, one of the first one to do wind tunnel design in India, which is considered one of the most difficult design in aeronautical engineering. So almost 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, we could see only wind tunnels used only in aeronautical engineering in aircraft facilities. But today, they use what you're seeing here is the wind tunnel used for checking the airflow for the cyclist. Is that unbelievable how we are bringing in all these technologies? The last one in this is the environment design. Sonia is the expert in that, and I've seen many of her work. And I don't know whether you all know about it. Sonia is the one who designed the entire Central Mall and various other for Kishore Bayani. She has done some amazing work. So these training facilities today are equipped with latest technologies. We talk about AI, but let's go away from AI for a little bit and understand what they do. They do motion, they have motion capture systems. I went and saw the facility of Harley Davidson. They have 1,000 sensors inside the facility to calibrate the sound of the bike. And it's just amazing how they think, right? And these machines, these training facilities have advanced fitness machines that can provide athlete with detailed feedback up to the less than a millimeter on how the muscle moves. And based on that, the way the athlete today has to get up and then run is defined by enormous amount of sensorial feedback. The very critical factor here is how can design help sports and emotional intelligence of sports person? There are 3 areas I figured out in the world people are using it. And this helps in boosting emotional intelligence through design. It's very important for us to understand. Sonia made a very important feedback. She said that it's not about emotion, it's about being sensitive. Emotions are considered the lowest level of consciousness. Empathy is considered the highest level of consciousness. And when you understand the emotional intelligence, it's very important for us to understand the empathy. Empathy is very close to being sensitive, because with emotions, they say that it's driven by the mind, whereas empathy is driven by the consciousness. And there are three aspects to how do we design those. The first one is mindful spaces. Designing space with elements like calming colors and comfortable seating, largely nature-inspired designs, enhances the emotional regulation of the body and mental clarity. It helps you to not to get distracted from so many things which are going inside your mind. The second one is social spaces. How do we make sure that we create team bonding areas, counseling centers, support centers for the well-being of the mind? And these are areas where athletes can interact socially with people. This helps them to bond with each other, because that's what helps them to achieve the unachievable. The last one in this is aesthetic and functional design. This is about designing functional and user-friendly layouts contribute to a positive emotional states. And in India, I would say that we have a long way to go in terms of design. I would say that we are anywhere between, 5 to 6% in terms of design if we compare how design has moved across the world. And there are so many things, possibilities are happening in India, because we are open to a world of newer way of doing things. And here, this is one of the finest designs which I came across. And this supposed to have the least amount of distraction when athletes are getting trained, so that they focus. And they also say that the kind of speaker system, what they have is, when the athlete starts, the entire speaker system opens up and then creates that sensation, how they are going to be inside the stadium. And then it simulates that and make them to get accommodated to that challenges which comes through voice and visual disturbance. The last one in my presentation today is about how do we design sports for all. My favorite today in design, even though I do a lot of digital design, I mostly do digital design, is accessibility. It's about designing an inclusive sports environment. How can we do that? It requires many aspects of thoughtful consideration. And for example, physical accessibility is a paramount importance. Diverse programming, which is what kind of programming can be done in the same stadium. Cultural sensitivity, we have people from all over the world coming in and experiencing it. And then it's community engagement. How do we bring the community in that area, and then bring in cultural nuances? Education plays a very important role, because when you enter the stadium, people have no idea. They may be the first timers. They have no idea how to make sure that they get comfortable and then enjoy. Affordability makes a very important aspect here. More than all, it's safety. And safety today, you saw that what happened with Delhi, the entire thing collapsed, and it's pretty sad. And safety is something we have a long way to go in India. And we have so much to learn from across the world. And the last one is marketing. How do we make sure that we create signs which are much more user-friendly, so that people don't have to think? I call it as a don't make me think approach, which is created by one of the great designers called Steve Krug. And what you're seeing is a Wembley Stadium in London. It's an example of an accessible sports venue. This features concourses, accessible seatings, facilities designed to accommodate individuals with disabilities. So this particular design, Wembley Stadium, is around 120 years old, but that's gone through more than 20 different kinds of designs over the last 120 plus years. So with that, my presentation ends. Thanks so much. And
are we still here? I hope we are not having any technical difficulties. Muki, thank you so very much. I would just like to get a confirmation, maybe from Josh, since he's the next presenter.
Seems to be working for me.
All right, great. Muki, if you can hear us, that was amazing. Thank you so very much, especially for bringing in the aspect of emotions versus empathy. I think that's a very important moment there, which we actually can influence individually. We'll come back to that, and if nobody asks a question with regard to that, I definitely will. Moving on to the next exciting presentation, which is from Vasanth Joshua. While we were in the previous presentation, Joshua has confused me further and his name is even longer. I will not care to remember that, sorry. So I'm again introducing you as Vasanth Joshua, coming to us from Mumbai and talking about obsession beating talent. I think this is again one of those very, very internal processes, and definitely brings in emotion as an aspect, as an important aspect in design. Joshua, over to you.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's an exciting day for me to present this. Thanks to Professor Sandra for inviting me to have a quick conversation about emotion, sport, and design. Today, I'm going to present something which is very personal to me, and I just want to quickly take you guys through how emotion kind of helps you design, and emotion kind of helps you be better at what you do in sport. I think for me, emotion is a grammar. It kind of is the underlining thought for everything and anything that you do when it comes to sport or design. Like Sandra said, I'm Josh. Because of so much confusion, I've shortened my name to Josh. I work at Find. We have a pretty small team. Everybody comes from different ethnicities, and they kind of bring different things to the table. We are driven by insights. So today I want to talk about the presentation in two parts: sport and emotion, and emotion and design. So I just want to quickly play one small clip, for a better reference, so we all understand where I'm coming from.
I fly home tomorrow. Is that what you want to do? You come all this way, have one bad day, and you're ready to back down? No, bad days suck. You love this game? I mean, love it with your whole heart. Because if you don't, let's not even bother. Let's not open that door. They're just going to slam it right in our face. I love this game. I live this game. There's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game. Obsession is going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed?
So this is a conversation that I've heard it a million times in my house, and I'll tell you how. And, it was a conversation between two people, and I'm going to, take you guys through what those two people did and how I learned from them. Before that, so we are talking about obsession. So what is talent? I want to hear from the pinnacle of talent himself. So I want you guys also to listen to what he says talent is.
Yes, talent matters. I'm not going to stand here and tell you it doesn't. But talent has a broad definition. Most of the time, it's not about having a gift. It's about having grit. In tennis, a great forehand with sick racket head speed can be called a talent. But in tennis, like in life, discipline is also a talent. And so is patience. Trusting yourself is a talent. Embracing the process, loving the process is a talent. Managing your life, managing yourself, these can be talents too. Some people are born with them. Everybody has to work at them.
Great. So we've understood what obsession is, and everybody knows what obsession is. And like the great legend himself spoke about talent, right? So I'm going to talk to you about two people, Vinita and Rajkumar. So this is basically, what my experience was for the past, sorry, 1 second. I don't know. I'm not able to see my screen. Okay. So this was my experience with them for the past 10 years. Vinita used to wake up early in the morning at 5 o'clock, go to practice 2 hours, come back and go to school for 6 hours, then again practice for 2 hours, go to school, go back to sleep at 10. And on the other hand, Rajkumar used to wake up at 4 o'clock, took her to practice, dropped her back to school, went to work in a factory, then came back, picked her up from the school, took her to practice, came back, did work at home, and slept at 11 o'clock. And they did this for almost 10 years. And that's something which is consistency is something which is impossible, and it's greatly appreciated, right? And I felt like, wow, how can somebody do it? And this was happening right in front of me. And Vinita, who was a sportswoman, went winning a lot of medals and trophies for 10 years straight, and she kind of passed out as the best outgoing sports student. And on the other hand, Rajkumar was like kind of obsessed with her success and was constantly supporting her and driving her to doing better. So how do these people affect me? And why am I talking about them? Because this is my dad and this is my sister, and they've been doing this, and I've been at the back seat watching them do this for so many years, and I exactly know what an athlete's life is and how it is very important for somebody to be at it. And it's not always what you see. There is so much emotion, there is so much at play when it comes to how a sportsman kind of does things, and how they kind of conduct themselves, and so on and so forth. But the learnings is what is interesting for me, and I want to talk to you about that, and how I've actually taken that as a backbencher, like absorb that and then put that back into design when it comes to my work. So my dad's the emotion, my sister's the talent, and I'm probably the design part of it. So three of us kind of come in hand putting this presentation together. So this is what everybody saw over the 10 years, and how it was always uphill, and it was like a steady stream going up. But it was never like that. It was always like this. It was always up and down, and it was always chaotic, and there used to be a lot of fight. The emotional graph used to be very, very intense. So that's something that I've always noticed. Like the intersection is the point where things really turn. Like the lowest points, the point where things are going down, and the point where things are going up. In any sportsman's life or a sportswoman's life, I think it is important to have a companion, a partner, a coach who is constantly emotionally supporting them. And I think it is a great learning for me as a designer, whenever we design for brands, whenever we design for any sports related products, for us to learn that. And then it's important. So a consumer, when somebody or a sports person who's buying a brand, who kind of understand and they relate to that kind of emotion, right? So we said, okay, for over 10 years, I learned grit is, the most important emotion, and it is passion and perseverance constantly at it. And, all the learnings, all the, personal influenced by my dad and my sister, kind of helped me put that back into design. Like I said, emotion is a grammar. I think with any design, like how anything makes you feel, it's important that we understand the importance of design, and we should know how a certain thing or an object or any of that matter should make you feel, right? So when Oziva came to us and said, we want to design a protein powder, a sports nutrition brand, and how can we, make a compelling story? Immediately, my sister and my dad came to my mind. Uh, you know, I know today's topic is about how can design help sports and sportsmen, but I am a contrarian, so I want to talk about how emotion can help design, and emotion can really help a sport. So, the insight was very interesting for us to look at it. For a beginner, it was always that the starting point, the weakness of how to go and start a journey. And for an everyday athlete, it was constantly, whether, I'm keeping at what I'm doing and, what is my goal and so on and so forth. And for a professional athlete, like, am I hitting the goals? Am I pushing myself? And so on and so forth. So we said empowerment is a great space to be. And, can we use that? Can we take that learning of emotion from the real sports person and then put it back into the brand? And, so for me as an observer, I'm very obsessed about everything. I'm obsessed about the way they look, the kind of, emotion they speak, the way the colors change. When my sister was furiated that she never like when she lost the match, she would be like red, like she'd be like burning, and she would be so irritated, and my dad would be in different shades. So all of these impacted me while designing for a sports brand, and I kind of took all these parts. Like I put every single detail back into the brand, and then I want to show you what we've done so far. So we kind of mapped it down to what a solid state is, what is transition, and what performance is, and we kind of put an emotion to the brand, and we said. Whatever stage you are at as a sportsman, because it is true, right? Like a sports person goes through a lot of ups and downs. Whatever the stage you are in, we are there as a brand to partner you. And we wanted to create a partner story so that the brand is emotional, the brand speaks human, and the brand is personified. So we said, whatever the goal is, don't worry, we will help you fuel it at an emotional level. And we said, why don't we use these colors? Like when somebody is racing to finish, what is the, tone in which the person is, and when they cool down, how do they look? So we wanted to create a transit state for the brand as well. So we've taken that visual representation of warming up and cooling down as well as a brand color. We created a block of peak. I think every time I think all sportsmen can talk about it. Every time when you go to practice, there is a new peak, a new benchmark that you set. Like, yeah, and then you keep, pushing that benchmark only higher. And you don't think I've done it all. So like, let's say 100 meters, you ran in 15 seconds. The next day you will try and push to keep it at 14.3. So I think that's something that we kind of felt it was interesting for a brand to kind of put it together. And we said, okay, let's use the element of peak. And of course, we wanted to do a type which is close to a sporty nature. And we said, okay, let's kind of put everything together. And this is how we have, put things together. We created a brand look and, So this is a brand that we launched a couple of years back for Hrithik Roshan. When the clients were talking to us, the both Hrithik Roshan and the nutrition company, they were all very excited in their own verticals. Hrithik is a fitness freak himself. He talks about fitness. He talks about how his life journey has been, and I've personally worked with him for many years. He himself is an embodiment of fitness, and he's not afraid and to talk about his difficulties and faults. So is the brand who kind of helped Hrithik to put the nutrition together. This is Aati and Mihir, who've been in the nutrition segment for almost 15 years. They've been there, done that, and it kind of excited me that how they have been in the space for so long. They've been obsessed with their own verticals, and they want to put something together, which kind of excited me, and then that's how we put the brand together. And I just want to show you different forms in which the design kind of played onto the packs. So are you ready to play? Keeping emotion in check. And this is a very important quote for me in my life. It's also made it to my WhatsApp group. You have all the talent, but are you obsessed? This is, I think, is true of anything. Like, you have to be in it to win it. And yeah, that's the shortest version of this presentation I could put it together, as Sandra asked me to do this. Thank you guys for being patient.
Thank you so very much. This was really exciting. And okay, personal bias here. I absolutely love Adam Sandler. I mean, amongst all of his craziness, he definitely brings certain wisdom every single time. I mean, so that was a really lovely little clip that you brought in, and I think it illustrated really well what does it mean to be emotional in the positive sense and really fuel yourself to excel and to win, right? Sonia here has been also inspired, and she has shared a beautiful little comment. Sonia, would you care to just elaborate? I'm going to make this one small exception. And
yeah, I was just noticing, and I was saying, I got the book Open that he's written. In the first line there is, I love tennis, I hate tennis. Okay, and so I was just saying that being emotional is putting yourself in there fully and allowing for the full range of emotions, from being positive to being negative. And I think that itself, that as well, I mean, to just add to what is being said, it is obsession. It's like being in love. So you need to put yourself in there fully. It can't be partially done.
So very true. So very true. And I think that goes for everything in life, isn't it? I don't think that's something that's just about sports or just about design. I think that's something that follows us throughout life. Thank you so much for that small insert. I think it makes a big difference to our further conversations. Josh, thank you so much again. We will come back to you with questions. I can see there are people who are already asking some interesting questions. So I would request every single one of you to stay till the end. This is really evolving into a beautiful conversation between all of us. And I'm sure that there will be questions posted in the chat box from the audience. Well, the next conversation is with the Iron Man himself. Ashfaq, would you mind switching on your camera and introduce your very modest self, but absolutely amazing sportsman? He has been a multiple triathlon competitor, and the Ironman is a form of triathlon. He's also a marathon runner, and he's, I would say, when don't take it in a bad way. When I say speed demon, I really mean it in the most positive way. I mean, you're obviously in love with everything that has speed, including yourself. So do talk to us about. We are really looking forward to hearing about the triathlon experience, and what does it take? What does it take to really be a part of it and be successful? Ashfaq, are you around?
Yes, Sandra, thank you so much for introducing
All
me
right.
that way. So, hope I'm audible. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
You're audible, but we can't see you.
You can't see me?
We can't see you.
My camera is on.
Your camera, it may be on, but it's certainly not letting us see you.
Will I quit and join back? I don't know what to do with that.
We did see you at the beginning.
Huh?
So I'm sure it's possible. We did see you at the beginning. And the
I
video
just switched on
is
the
running.
camera, switched it on, audio is clear. Not sure why. I have switched on my camera here on my system and it works fine.
Okay. Can my team possibly do something about this? Is there a possibility of, can my tech team just look into this? Are we all, are they
Sir,
all?
on your video settings, would you please check which camera is used?
HP wide vision camera is the only one what I have.
Okay.
Checked. Should I quit and join back? Will that help?
Well, we could do that. We could do that because I think it makes a big difference when we are able to see our speakers. We connect better, right? And today it's all about connection and emotion. So do join us back. All right. In the meantime, we have Professor Pratik Bandari, who has also decided to join this conversation and prepare some material with regard to sports, emotion, and products, and is also talking about the environment. So Pratik, over to you, and then we will come back to Ashfaq after that. So I'm very happy to say that our university has also recently built a massive cricket stadium and is expanding on the sports facilities here at our campus. And I'm also happy to say that the Karnataka Cricket Association has been a great well-wisher and the sponsor for the activities and the maintenance of this very beautiful space. And we can already see how much of engagement and also emotional investment our students are experiencing by participating in the tournaments that have been organized by the university. It brings communities together. And while the CMR University is spread over 4 campuses, there has been an opportunity for all of our students to come together and faculty as well, to come together and play. And I think that was a really wonderful moment where we could really see how important it is to actually participate in these activities and connect to our friends and connect to our mentors and create those bonds which simply make us better human beings. So I think it's really amazing to include that in our lives here. And I think we're very fortunate that we are in an environment where this is paid attention to. Over to you, Pratik, now. I hope all set and all ready. If you could switch on your camera, that would be great. Although we love your profile picture. But if we could see you live, that would be even more awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I thought it was on.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good morning to all. Definitely, I'm not a sports person. So I wanted to, since it's an occasion of Industrial Design Day, so I wanted to touch upon the products, what we have in day-to-day lives, the way it's evolving, and where are we moving forward with that. So I thought it will be interesting to put some light onto that. My topic for the presentation is products, emotions, and the environment. To start with, I wanted to start the presentation with a very iconic Coke's bottle. The way it has evolved. So the products which have been in the market for almost the last 100 years, the way the bottle has evolved with the industrial processes. Um, the counter of the Coke bottle, if you can see the first image till the last image, the last image has that counter where you can hold it and it has a grip also. So the emotions when we talk about it, it's very ergonomical. It is safe to hold. We feel instead of just having a vertical cylindrical bottle in the hand, and the also when we say Coke, it's like a chillness, right? That's the kind of emotion what we have. Moving on, this is one of my favorite packaging design. It's Naoto Fukasawa, who is a Japanese product and the furniture designer. It's called as a juice pill packaging, where he has designed the series for banana and the strawberry packaging. So even now, it doesn't have any branding as such, or when you just look at it, it feels like, okay, it's banana, you just grab it, feel like grabbing it. Then again, since when I got into design, this was the first presentation which I saw from my professors, and when they're talking about the design, this is the designer is Ross Lovegru. So they're talking about the semiotics. It's a water bottle designed for the brand called TY Nant. And the use of semiotics here to bring products closer to the humans. It's like you're holding a water in your, literally you're holding a water in your hand. And then again, this was every time we hear about the industrial design and what can go wrong. So the Fords was the first one to industrialize processes. So the Ford's black only policy, which was invented which was pronounced in 1914. So the statement what he had made, any color the customer wants, as long as it's black, so that it should not disturb the product line. And the costing also can come down, whereas the products are offered at the cheaper rate. Same time, we also have to think about our users, what they want. So people really wanted the colors, they want to see the colors, but he said it's only black. So the product, so the his market value went down, and over the time they had changed the policy and introduced the new colors. Again, I've studied in Coimbatore, and again, this is the product I've seen from 2011 when I started going to the college. It's a very traditional wet grinder. It's very common in South India. It's almost every house has this. If you see the first one, what was introduced, it's when it comes to hygiene and the comfort, it's perfect. It's industrial and quite a mechanical product. Now the way things have evolved, we got into plastic and the production processes also. So now what you see in the market, which is on the right hand side, these are the very organic and the free flowing forms. And so we feel also very safe when we are using it. The earlier one, yeah, it is when it's in the kitchen, it's like just there because I don't have any other option. So we have to use it. Whereas this feels like quite a comfort to use these products. Then again, even in my this was in my college days. Again, this is the example we are quite seeing the Benz bionic car concept, which was evolved by the box fish. So the products which are close to the nature, we tend to connect them very easily. So that was the insight here. Then another, I have worked on the few assignments where we were working as a third party for the Indian Air Force. So we had developed the products. So again, here also the mindset was many a times whatever the rugged, even though the material itself is not rugged, but the kind of emotion we have, right? It's very safe. It is gonna long last, even though we don't know the material yet. When we talk about the forms, the way forms inspires us. When we just look at the shoes, the simple form, it is meant for running. But even though when we just look at it, it feels like, okay, it's meant for running. So the kind of a winning attitude, because we are always associated with the environment. All the winners will wear the similar shoes. So wanted to put this slide here. I have played only this game in my life, that is frisbee. So again, wanted to include this here. In my college, this was kind of a very important game for us, and we used to have a proper tournaments for this. Again, the way product is developed, the initial it's made up of plastic, probably PP plastic. Because of the material, it can have amazing properties. You can do it something like a boomerang. It can you can do many stunts with this. But at the same time, you're also scared because it might just come and hit you on your head, and so you're always scared about that. For the same time, it is also evolved for the kids. So if there are now these days there are frisbees which is made up of just a pure silicone or rubber. So, but at the same time, you cannot achieve what you can achieve with the plastic. So there is a scope for improving it further on. Again, yeah, safety gears. Yeah, the reason behind putting this slide, because my nephew now, he's into since he's practicing all these sports, and he goes to the skating classes every day. I see him, the kind of a speed he has, it's really another level. I myself, I cannot imagine I'm doing something like that. But probably when I just talk to him, the kind of gears what he has, that's what makes him very confident. And he's always, whenever he's just going around, he's always carrying them. So it's also very personal. Over the time, when you start wearing it, the way material is developed, it adapts to your body form. So over the time, it is like now it's meant for the user. So and also it helps you to concentrate on your game as well. Then moving on to the food, that's like a most loved topic for me. And the kind of experiences what we are getting. The very well-known restaurant Subway. Subway is known for kind of a IKEA experience, right? You can go configure your own sandwich the way you want. And similarly, they are trying to get this experience in the app also. So when you're trying to order this, so it's the same emotion. I have an option of customizing it the way it is, and beautifully they have captured it also. So this another one is again, like, yeah, I'm moving too much away from the sports topic. So this was, again, since talking about the personal experience, this was is a restaurant in Delhi, Naivedyam, and it's a South Indian restaurant, and we all always used to go there. So the best part about the Naivedyam is the kind of experience what you get there. The way they welcome you, you just go there, you have a welcome drink, and followed by the food. So now, when what happened over the time, this COVID happened, and then there was no option. Still, like, I felt like eating South Indian, so just order it online. That was the only option left. So when we order it, the food comes something like this, right? When you order it. So now I started that thing. I started forgetting the kind of experience what I had with the Naivedyam. So just wanted to put out a thought here. So when we have food at the restaurant, there is a certain ambience that one can experience. Do we have the same experience if we get the food at home, or are we losing the emotional connection with the restaurant? So I felt, because this is what is happening in most of the times we are ordering food, and I hope we are not losing that connection with the restaurant. Another topic, which is, since we're talking about the environment, the products are evolving. Now the mass production is into place, and you can, and especially after the COVID, everybody wants to have things which is in a single, in a very hygienic way, which is, which sadly the option being only the single-use plastic items. The kind of a tea which is very prominent in Maharashtra, we have something called as a cutting chai. Now that cutting chai is replaced with this kind of a cups. And even though you want to have it in this kind of tumblers or the glasses, that option is no more in many places. That's not available because the convenience the single-use plastic items give you. Plus, it's very hygienic and it's trendy because every time you can have a new graphics on your cup if you wish to. It's a safe and we have a satisfaction. It's it's brand new. It's just made for me. So that's an emotional factor for us. But at the same time, this is the images from the Bangalore's waste management system. One of my very close friends, she works there, and recently she shared it with me. This is what happens every day. So for our comfort, are we losing on this, the kind of a bottle? Because it's very easy to get all of these things. So the food delivered in a single-use item is safer for me, but what about the environment? So can we bring emotional connect with the environment? So that's what I wanted to prompt here to everyone. Yeah, I wanted to close this session saying that products are important, emotions are important, but also the environment we should consider. Just for our comfort, we should not neglect the environment. Don Norman's very famous quote, cognition attempts to make sense of the world, but emotions assign the value. So how can we balance these three things? So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratik. That was really about everything. It's so and it actually prompts emotional responses throughout. Your questions have prompted emotional responses throughout. I'm glad you brought in sports because it's it's an important part of our conversation today. But you certainly did tackle you know, the more, I mean, I know Pratik quite well, and he's quite a foodie, and he also cooks quite a lot, and so I'm not at all surprised that there was so much of attention to food and nutrition and so on. Maybe we can circle back also between you and Muki. Maybe we can circle back to this particular point and see how nutrition actually influences both performance in sports as well as mood. And maybe we can talk about that. Maybe that can be one of the questions that we can talk about. All right. So thank you again. I'm wondering, have we been managed to get the Ironman back? Ashfaq, are you with us? I would request my team to just confirm whether Ashfaq is with us or
Yes, ma'am, he's in the meeting.
He's in the okay. I'm not able to see him. Ashfaq, would you mind? Yes, would you? All right.
Okay.
There you are. Hi.
Sorry for the disturbance and confusion.
Glad to got you here. Okay.
Thank
I think we're all very curious to hear about your journey to through you know, how you have trained yourself. I mean, triathlon has three major components here, right? And it's really one of the toughest challenges that a human being can put him or herself through, because you have to train at least for three segments, right? Which is running, which constitutes a marathon, swimming, and also cycling. Am I wrong, or I think I got that?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, yes, you're right.
So I'm really looking forward to hearing how do you deal with you know, your motivation? How do you deal with discipline? Because this is not just one sport. It's not just being great at one thing. It's about being great at least three things. So I'm really looking forward to you talking about that journey of how all of this has happened for you, and you know, how have you gained that discipline and emotional intelligence to really become who you are. Over to you.
Thanks, Sandra. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. not sure how I can relate what I do and what I do in sports to what you are doing here today, but I'll try my best. I didn't have any presentation or anything. I see everyone is coming up with a presentation, so I don't have anything as such. I'll give you an insight on what I went through. So I was always a fitness person, so getting into sports was quite easy thing for me. By when I mean easy thing, it means that when someone offered something or when someone said something, I would go ahead and try it. So that was my attitude towards sport. So in 2012 is when I got introduced to cycling. My friend said she did a Great Malnad Challenge, which is 800 kilometers of cycling, and I was very shocked and surprised to hear that, as in someone can do that. And then I bought a cycle from my friend. It was a used Hercules Rodeo, costing me about 7 to 8 thousand bucks for a used cycle. So from there, today have progressed a lot in terms of cycling. It started off with cycling, of course. I started enjoying how you cycle on the outskirts and look at places and things. That's how I started. But then I got into a community called Audix India, who organizes rides of 200 kilometers minimum, non-stop rides I'm talking about. So 200, 300, 400, 600, and 1,000 kilometer rides is what they do. So when I got into a 200 kilometer ride, which was the first longest ride of my time, so that gave me a good challenge. It made me understand what a good cycle would do, what a good accessory would do, what a good helmet would do, and what is the use of using a good glove. So all those things I could understand and make myself better at. So, but when I did 200, 300, and 400 kilometers of non-stop cycling, I understood that, it took 26 hours of my time, and I had to sacrifice my sleep on that. So that was something which I was not so comfortable about. That's when I switched to triathlon. My first triathlon was in the year 2017, wherein let me tell you first about what triathlon is. Sandra described it very well. But the first leg is the swim leg, and then you move into the cycle leg. So your cycles are mounted next to your swim distance. And once you finish your swim, you come back, you put on your cycling attire, you get onto your cycle, go finish off a loop, and come back and get into your running attire and finish off your run. That's how it goes. So when you do that, there's a lot of things which come into matter. When I heard Muki saying, I was nodding to everything what he mentioned, the design factor of every product and the thought process what goes in for designing. It was amazing, as in everything makes sense. Comfort of an athlete is the utmost priority. So when you choose a product, when I choose a helmet or when I choose running shoes, I make sure that I am at my utmost comfort, and the fear of injury is always there. So you make sure you choose the right product. So I developed in choosing those things, and sprint distance and Olympic distance is the shortest on a triathlon. Sprint distance is 750 meters of swim, followed by 20 kilometers of cycling and 5 kilometers of running. I was good at it, but I couldn't handle the run part of it. I wasn't trained for that. I'm a natural swimmer. And then cycling I developed, but running I couldn't. I used to not like it so much. So uh, I had to develop my running. I picked up the right running shoes, spoke to a lot of runners, got information from them, worked on my nutrition, what is required, and that gave me an edge, and that gave me a push to finish my triathlon with an ease. Yeah, all three legs. Before I used to drag myself to the finish line in my running part, but then after I advanced myself, I could finish my run also with an ease. So in 2022 is when I did my first Ironman. It's an Ironman 70.3, which is basically half Ironman, It's not a full happens only international. India is not yet prepared for handling full Ironman. Half is 1.8 kilometers of swim, followed by 90 kilometers of cycling, and then 21 kilometers of running. So when I registered for this, I had no clue that I would be able to do all this together. Though I have done all these events separately, I have done multiple 21-kilometer runs, and much farther I have swam and cycled around 400, like I said. But I didn't do all this together, so I wasn't sure. I just registered and started training for it. And it happened to be that my good friend Vijay came in with me, though he didn't know anything about this sport. He came and supported me in Goa. And the excitement, what you have, the anxiety, what you have is there. But since you have a good cycle, good product, good shoes, good helmet, and good nutrition, you know what your body wants, and if you have everything in place, your only aim would be to finish the race, and nothing else would come in between. The challenge what I faced was we train in Bangalore, right, with a good weather and mostly in Kaban Park and nice tree shades and all that. And when you're out and open there in Goa, hot weather, and humid. So that was quite challenging. Emotionally, you tend to give up at one point. You tend to think that, this is the max I can do. I have to stop now. But then something keeps you going. That is to finish the race, what you registered for, what you signed up for. So that one made me complete that. And then again, I did another Ironman, half Ironman in the year 2023 in Malpe, which was even more tiring. So let me connect this slightly to design. So when I did the Goa half Ironman, same distance, and when I did the Udupi half Ironman there, what difference it made is the crowd in Goa, the support what we got from the volunteers, the money what they had spent, the organizers had spent on the nourishment and athletes' comfort was amazing, which didn't happen in Udupi. And that's why the overall time what I took, 6 hours, 45 minutes, what I took in Goa increased by another 15-20 minutes in Udupi. So that made a lot of difference, athletes' comfort and the environment, what the athlete is running or swimming, and makes a lot of difference. Suppose that now my aim further is to go for a full Ironman. That's why I wanted to improve my run. So I registered for a full marathon this Jan. And again, someone told me that when you want to do a full marathon, the best place to go first time is Mumbai. Tata organizes it, and it was a wonderful event, very well organized, with a lot of entertainment and crowd support and all of those things. So I have done first full marathon, and I could complete it with a smile. I never thought I will be able to do it. But before that, just before the event, I went and bought running shoes, which is spacious shoes, much comfortable, and it had good cushioning. That made a difference, seriously. When you run after 20, 25 kilometers, you feel completely tired and it's painful throughout your body. So the fact that you feel your shoe is comfortable makes you say that, you are in place, everything is in place. So why aren't you running? And you just push yourself across. All the products what we have used. So I told you that I used 8,000 rupees cycle, which is Hero Rodeo right in the beginning. And now I use a carbon fiber, which is more than 2 lakhs. So the transformation from, what you understand about a product to what it is now. The availability is one thing and the affordability is one thing. And how you can choose the right product for your usage. Now, if I go with a better cycle, I would get more mileage. If I go with a better helmet with more aerodynamic, the helmet what I use is this right now. But if I have more aerodynamics in this with a glass in front, it would give me another edge. the gloves what I use, if it has more cushioning in it, I mean, at the same time, it should not be very heavy on me because I'll be wearing it for at least 7-8 hours. So that makes a difference. The shoe what I use on the cycle when I'm clipping it, the weight of the shoe, and all those plays a crucial role. So now when I joined the session and when I heard you guys talking, that's when I understood that so much thought goes into designing all these products, keeping the athletes' comfort in mind. So I feel once you set a goal, to do something, and once you register for an event, I think that's where uh, your journey starts. You start working towards it. You put your mind and soul into the training, and then you go ahead and finish it. In between, you would feel a little demotivated, thinking you are not up to the mark and I should be stopping it right now, probably skip this event and join another event which is coming up next year. But if you have yourself surrounded by a community who's doing similar activity, and if you have your self-enrolled, I use an app called Strava, which is again designed very beautifully, have all the sports athletes built into that. So when I see my friend have done some training time yesterday, done some run, and he has done some cycle time today. So I wouldn't sit quiet. I would jump in and say, it's my turn now, and I should go ahead and do my thing. So that Strava app, though it's very little, it helps a lot in how a person can activate himself and motivate himself in doing the training. So another advantage I would say for me doing triathlon sport is that you don't have to get bored of a single training each day. Every day morning, you can get up and think, what should I be doing today? Okay, if I'm in a mood to swim, let me go and swim. If I'm in a mood to cycle, let me cycle. If I'm in a mood to run, let me go to the park and run. So it doesn't bore you doing the same thing. Let's say if you are only a runner, you would practice only on running every day and building your muscle, going to gym and then running every day. That's what you would do. So this thing has motivated me every day, and it's given me a different perspective. Plus, we travel a lot. We look at a lot of different places. When we do this, it happens in different locations. So it gives a feel good factor. And trust me, once you finish an event, the feeling what you get inside, it's not about the podium, it's not about the winning or anything. The feeling what you get inside, that okay, I have completed this in a given time, it makes you feel very good. So that's what I have to share, and hope I have contributed to whatever you're looking for.
Very much so. Thank you so very much for this very very focused, very intimate sharing of your experience of what does it mean, and a lot of things I didn't know. And looking at it from outside, I'm very happy that you've mentioned a particular app called Strava. I did use this for a while during the pandemic when I was doing some indoor cycling, because we were all limited, right? And how much is it actually important to gain a supporting community in whatever we are doing? And sports is all about having that support, whether it's support through the equipment that we use, whether it's emotional support from the community or our friends, or a larger community, whether it's support from the environment that we are in and we train. I think all around that is very important. And so this is where we as designers can sort of relate to how important technology can also play a role in our emotional well-being for a right purpose, right? We're very often today, when we talk about technology, we talk about all of its negative impacts. But at least in this domain, technology can actually help us. Thank you so much for this. We will come back to you with questions. I can already see some of our audience attendees have put down some interesting questions. and coming into the space now, which is perhaps dealing more with that technological part. We have Shubhamay Basu also joining us today, who's a part of our school and who's a part of our team. He's the lead faculty in communication design, and he's going to be talking to us about a very interesting theme again, which is connecting different aspects of sport, and this is about the emotions. It's about products. It's about environment, and I'm going to hand this over to you now and start off. I hope. I mean, I haven't seen any of the presentations, and so we're kind of improvising here. But that's the beauty of it. I'm really hoping to see from you that connection between the technology and sports and emotion. So I'm hoping to see that. Thank you so much, and over to you, Shubhamay.
Good morning, everybody. So it's been quite intriguing. I'm inspired. I'm truly inspired. I'm thankful to Sandra and all the guests that they have overwhelmed us with our inspiring things that they have shared. So first of all, I would like to ask whether I'm audible or not after.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
And okay, and can you see my screen?
We can see your screen, but you're not yet in full screen mode.
Okay.
Which is no biggie, but the
is...
experience and the emotional connect will be better if you're
okay.
able to switch to there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So let me start with, I'm the last speaker. So let me start with, the things that they have highlighted. The first speaker, Muki, right? The empathy versus emotion, right? So it's so amazing that, we sometimes, skip that. So that's the difference. And empathy is here, emotion is here. Accessibility, how obsession can take people to achieve something. So my topic is how emotions can be designed. Can we design emotions? People say no. Hey, what are you talking about? Can we design emotions? Yes, we can. So I will not bore you with a lot of insights. And let's play a game. So I'll take you to one of the websites and just let me tell you how you feel. So there are numbers against the emotions that you feel. I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with what is anxiety, is panic, is what is nervousness, what is angry, what is frustrated, what is fascinating, curious. So if you are feeling any of these, just type those numbers in chat box and you'll remember that, and we'll come back. So meanwhile, this website is opening. I'm trying to relate something. So my personal experience throughout this seminar, like Josh mentioned, it's all about ups and downs. Emotions have ups and downs. So when I started, I was not able to link, connect Zoom. So I was anxious. So my emotions were down. So then I got connected. I was happy. So it's about ups and downs. So what do you feel about this website? Can you type something like what if I want to understand what's going on? I mean, do you think you can do anything about this? I mean, what to do? If I type something to search the equipment, suppose I think that it is about some equipment or it's selling something. So, if you are feeling frustrated, don't hesitate. If you are feeling uh, disappointed about the sloppy design, don't hesitate. Another website that we use very often, Book My Show. So how do you feel about it? So when I open, I can see where am I? I'm in Bangalore. So what are the movies? So quickly I can connect and I can, do my task. I'm very much intrigued. I mean, I'm talking about personally my experience. So it's amazing experience. I'm happy. So coming back to the slides. So I think okay. So all the emotions. So those who are uh, a bit negative, marked in red. Those happy, inquisitive, eager, fascinated, jovial, ecstatic. It took me 1 hour. I remember when I was teaching my juniors in Accenture, it took 1 hour to make them understand what is difference between happy and ecstatic, so that there are nuances. So the slide itself says that emotions are nuances. We as a designer, it's our responsibility to capture those nuances. So how do we capture that? So we'll come back to that. So this is basically what's been happening. If we are feeling curious, then this hormone is triggered, like acid chlorine or something. So melatonin, oxytocin, dopamine, these are very familiar. Serotonin, adrenaline, cortisol, GABA, and all. So this is what basically happens. So if anybody who has typed the number 8 and 2, I see somebody has typed 8 and 2. That means that one more. I lost it. Okay, so that means you were angry and interested. So suppose I presume that when I open Book My Show, you were interested. When I open the sloppy website, you were angry, frustrated, and all. So that's what designers do. Through our tools, techniques, we capture those emotions. We'll come back to that in one of our slides. So let's watch something interesting. So how uh, uh, sports have adapted the technology. It's been a long time, but what is going on with AI and all? So I'm not going to play all the videos, just a few to save time.
Feel free not to shorten your presentation. I think we're okay. So do go ahead. I mean, we're all curious now. And thanks for bringing in the point of AI. I think that's very important. And how do we make that connection between AI and sports and emotion? I think it's going to be interesting to see that. So don't shorten.
Okay. So yeah, can you see the video? My question is.
I think we're still on the slide, evolving design for sports.
1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Sure.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'm not sure whether the audio is. I think the audio is not playing. No, not yet. I think your audio is still working instead of the
Okay. Which one? This one.
Sonia, thank you so much for staying till the end. This is really lovely.
Right. Okay, now you can see.
We were trying to do manually.
The digital athlete was
Captured, and so the engineers and others really get an opportunity to take a look at each major injury from as many different angles as they can to better understand exactly what's happening. We have a lot of sensors. Some are measuring, for example, the speeds that the players are running. Some players are wearing sensors in mouth guards, which can measure the magnitude and direction of those impacts, and all sorts of data points, including speeds and locations and injuries and equipment and other things. As we started taking a look at concussion in depth, we began to see trends and patterns just by watching them. And so we put our heads together and put together this project that we call the Digital Athlete to do exactly what we were trying to do manually.
The digital athlete was developed using machine learning techniques to create an exact digital replica of an NFL athlete. We also developed an automated game review system using computer vision technology to automate the frame-by-frame analysis of major injury events and the kinematics of collisions. This process, it's now done more accurately and nearly 83 times faster than the manual process done by a human.
There are a couple of deliverables that we've seen. For example, having the computers understand how many times a player hits his helmet during the course of a game and try to find ways to reduce the amount of helmet contact. Ultimately, this tool is a means to driving down injury rates around concussions, hamstrings, knee injuries, whatever the case may be, and advancing technologies and equipment to help prevent those. Over the last 3 years, we've seen a 25% reduction in the number of concussions at the NFL compared to the 3 years previous. And we've seen helmets improve. We've taken a look at drills and practices and the ways that the athletes are trained to try to eliminate any unnecessary head impact. And then lastly, we've taken a look at any number of rules changes to eliminate certain dangerous or more risky behaviors. So it's significant progress. There's a lot more to do and a lot more that technology can help us.
We will evolve detection systems beyond the head to include a player's lower extremities. These injuries are also extremely complex, and efforts are underway as part of the Digital Athlete project to better understand how these injuries are occurring.
More players who are healthier longer is good for everybody. And that's what our goal is, whether it pertains to the artificial intelligence around the digital athlete.
Thank you, Shubhamay. You're back. But your sound is not. You'll need to unmute.
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry. So, we have seen massive adaptation of technologies, design, everything, but now it has even taken another notch higher. So let's watch how AI is doing its job. So let me share. Yes.
5. Being able to do business anytime and anywhere is valuable. Being able to do it for one low price is even better.
We've all heard of facial recognition, where cameras and technology can pick out faces in a crowd. But what about emotion recognition? Or what about emotion prediction? There's a group of young companies who are coming up with ways to do exactly that using AI technology. And we're here in London to visit Element Human. We're doing that in all kinds of different ways.
People are essentially, if you think about it from a camera's perspective, a bunch of pixels. And those pixels are moving with each other in different ways, and the artificial intelligence, what it's really good at is it's spotting patterns. We take the patterns that it's spotted in all these meta layers of features, and then we start to classify it to say, do we see a pattern of smiling? And you look at that across different groups of people. So that could be observing an audience to help inform a publisher on how they should produce content, or a brand on where they should advertise. It could be observing a student to inform a teacher where they're struggling. And maybe the learning style and the learning presentation of that particular piece of knowledge is not very conducive to their learning approach.
In Selezak's future, everyone will have access to their own AI assistant. It'll help them read the reactions of people around them and tell them how someone else is feeling.
We want to start looking at some business traits that what is this message trying to change for consumers? So one of the things that we look at here is, let's see if Tim Hortons is disgusting. Our competitor is going to be McDonald's. We need people to look at this. So we're plugged into a bunch of globally sourced panel providers. Now we're going to enter something we call a memory test. So this is one of our first subconscious measurements. We call it Tinder for brands. Is Rolex cheap? Do I disagree or agree with the statement? So I disagree with that statement. So what we're doing here is we're building a bank of my reaction times.
He says that aside from assisting publishers, he sees all kinds of uses for his technology. It might, for instance, be used to detect when a crowd is about to riot.
I think, yes, it will go in that direction, those types of public protection principles, to help for, can we identify a crowd that's about to turn into a riot? Can we tell somebody who's really nervous? Even forget just public protection, but more transport safety. Just people who are moving through the city. Is there a particular crosswalk that actually people almost get hit all the time? We just need to adjust the light length.
But ethics are important to anyone entering this new market, says Selezak. His company has already decided it won't be working with certain people out of those ethical concerns, namely gambling companies and politicians.
When we work with our customers, we have in our contracts that our first and primary obligation is to the data owner. And the data owner in our case is always the individual. So we stand firmly on the side of the voters versus the politicians.
In the end, Selezak thinks that rather than dehumanize us, emotion detection AI will actually help us become more human. He thinks that where people are loaded with personal baggage when they try to determine others' feelings, AI can make better, more objective determinations.
I have a talking series coming up this year, which is AI will actually make us more human. It will only do so if we bring non-engineers and artificial intelligence people along for the ride. So you have to bring everybody. It has to be a collective global movement, not just people getting impacted by somebody else's technology. So it has to be open, and it has to be testable, and it has to be proven and usable by everybody in the ecosystem.
All right, we're back.
Yes, amazing. 1 minute. So now, yeah, so a lot of inspiring things, I mean, have been going on for a while. So these technologies are used, but if we are curious, what are the challenges the players, sports people have been facing? And they needed a lot of things, or only, I think, maybe 30%, 40% has been done for them. So as a designer community, a part of designer community, it's our responsibility to, extend our hands. So yeah, these are the statistics. 35% of athletes suffer from depression, burnout, and injury. That rightly said by our guests today. 60%, as it says, the former professional soccer players have reported problems with anxiety, insecurity, injuries, a lot of challenges, right? So 21% athletes report depressive symptoms. So how we get rid of these things, how we jump in, I mean, is there any possibility for designers, the students, the professors to collaborate with the students of sports or the teachers, the sports universities? I mean, that's a possibility, but it's not a far-fetched dream. It's a reality. Many universities are happening, but coming to what are the things already done for them? So we have smart clothes. So yeah, we have done a lot of, I mean, few things. Smart clothes, one of them. So sensors are attached, so they collect the data. So I've just tried to gather some articles, research papers, and all. So smart equipment, spaceballs are now equipped to track the speed. Suppose somebody is hitting the ball with a particular emotional state. So can that be corrected by coach? That's the thing. Now, training simulations, I mean, way to go. Like, I mean, AR, VR trainings are happening. The muscles, the positions. I remember I was in London, so we had rowing team. So they actually use something to track their injuries. So rowing, from spinal cord to the muscles and everything. So now, yeah, dashboards. A lot of athletes, footballers, professionals, they use dashboards. Their coaches use their dashboards. AI-based solutions. Suppose IBM and a lot of others, they have come up with their products. So facial recognition, a lot of, and it's also debatable. I mean, whether these kind of data can be captured, or who might share. I mean, where these data could be shared. So the data security is a concern also. But still, I mean, we are moving on. A lot of things are coming up. So IBM, Microsoft coming up with their analytical tools. The basketball here, players are analyzed. They are, they're also tracking the heart rates and everything. So a lot of things. But as a designer, as a researcher, what we do in our creative process, so we capture emotions as well. So we capture through these tools, empathy mapping. We do customer journeys, emotional maps. So our students who are attending now, I'm hopeful that they're also practicing already, but there are a lot to learn. So nuances, as I said in the beginning, nuances are the important. So can you capture the every bit, like the differences between even the one emotion to another, which is even subsumed to a larger emotion. So how we analyze and give solutions and all. So data, obviously we gather qualitative and quantitative data, we combine them, we analyze, we synthesize, we do with surveys. A lot of studies go on. We kind of synthesize, we analyze, and we implement that in our solutions. So we create prototypes and all. So what are the methodologies we use? We use, suppose here I'm trying to illustrate how we use empathize, define, ideate in light of design thinking, but there are other methods as well. But the goal is to justify. The user needs. We put the user in the center as user-centric design. So that's the goal. Whether you take different methods or not, you must do the research. You must, I mean, as a designer, we must capture the emotions. And I was intrigued by one presentation, one case study that Josh elaborated, the ups and downs of athletes, and the red and blue were symbolized when they are kind of struggling and they're achieving. So it's about that. So that's the power of deep research. and how that reflects. So a lot of universities are coming up with the collaborative effort. They are actually doing it. So I have a case study here, but I'll just verbally quickly go through it. So
is there something you would like to show on the screen anymore, or
no, it's actually the case study. So there are different universities across America and Europe. They are collaborating with design schools, and the design schools are coming up with their solutions. The students are actually going there, collaborate with the sports personalities, the students, the coaches, and they're coming up with the solutions. So here's something that I thought that the scope that our design schools have, so they can prepare smart wearables. So we have fashion designers, we have product designers, we have communication designers. So they can collaborate with the students, the athletes, the coaches, engineers. So coders can come, they can work together, so we can build amazing things. Suppose immersive training with AR, VR. Also, as I said, AI can be used. So yeah, these are the things that I see as a new horizon. I mean, we can explore. And most importantly, environment, as Pratik said, that's also important, and also the mental health, that is nowadays emerged as one of the key criteria to succeed. So coaches are actually focusing on the mental health of the students of sports. So the apps, the service design, products, so whatever it is, so could be designed together. Universities can collab. So that's how I see the future, and that's how I conclude. So thanks all for your attention and participation. Over to ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shubhamay. This reminds me, and perhaps it's a great beginning of our journey as a school. In semester 6, which is in semester 6, yes. So it's not the upcoming semester from July, it's the one upcoming from January 2025. We will, for the first time, explore what does it mean to design wearable tech. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I think your presentation and your talk here today has sort of prompted a few points with regard to how we can set about this. And especially when it comes to measurement of performance in sports, because sports is going to be our main focus when we are talking about wearable tech. And I'm really looking forward to involving all of our speakers here today, because there's obviously so much of experience that you have accumulated, and everyone. I mean, Ashfaq from on ground as a sports person, Muki as someone who's engaged with this, Josh, who has already done projects in the space of sports and well-being. So Sonia, of course, I mean, I'm counting on you this 100%. So I'm looking forward to this new exploration, new journey, which we are about to embark on. And thank you, Shubhamay, for pointing out that, we could use certain structures that are already in existence when it comes to especially research. That's really great. Okay, so now what I would like to do here is open the stage for questions, and I can see some of them in the chat box. So, for example, how do young designers cultivate grit in them? I think that's a really, really great question. And this was Dhriti who has asked the question. If Dhriti can clarify for which one of the speakers she has ask this for. Otherwise, I'm opening it to every single one of you to answer this question. How do young designers cultivate grit? I would request my tech team at this point of time to unmute all of our speakers so we can have a kind of a free-flowing discussion. I can see Joshua has already unmuted himself. Would you like to take the first shot at this question?
How does one cultivate grit?
Yes.
It's a difficult question because I think consistency is what or repetition, like, is what kind of helps you develop that grit. And like I said, you need to be obsessed with whatever you're doing, and you need to be okay. You need to be patient. You need to have discipline. You need to have, I think, a goal that's going to that you're going to achieve anyways, right? You need to be sure about what you're going to do. And I think that along the way, along that process, you will develop that grit. And that's what I've kind of, that's what it's been my journey, at least so far, to develop the grit. That because as creative people, we are very emotional people. We are very cynical people. We are very, prone to fall into a corner. We are very prone to, sulk. It is a great thing that we are emotional beings, highly sensitive emotional beings. So it's easy for us to absorb what's happening around us. I think to just develop that form of grit towards doing anything, you need to be patient with yourself and work towards it. I think, and then the grit kind of falls in place in due process. That's what I think.
I think again, it's a whole range of emotions that we are dealing with while we are building grit, right? So again, it's about I'm guessing it's about being aware of these emotions when they kick in, whether they're positive or negative, and sort of try and rise above that, which definitely brings me to the point of emotions versus empathy. And this is something that Muki has brought in. Muki, are you able to unmute yourself at this point of time?
Yes, I can.
Great. So I would like us to come back to your point, between emotions and empathy, and point it out and connect it with this question of how do we build grit, and in that spectrum of between emotions and empathy, how do we actually rise to the higher consciousness level and consciousness and emotional level, right, which is empathy, rather than dealing with emotions?
So it's very important for students and everybody else to understand that most of the time we react to situations. We react to everything in our life. Rarest of the rare, we learn to respond. So reaction is driven by the mind, whereas response is very conscious. Reaction is unconscious. Response is very conscious. So reaction is directly connected to emotions, whereas response is directly connected to empathy. That's the way I would say that we will, we need to learn. So we are taught from our parents to schools and professors and teachers how to memorize things, but we are never taught to how to think. So when we teach people how to think, the first understanding is increasing our awareness to ourselves, which is emotions, and the environment. When we keep increasing our awareness, and that's where our life becomes much better. So grit comes from increasing your awareness. There is no scale of increasing awareness, because when you talk about awareness, there is no right and wrong. It is only increasing your awareness. The better your awareness is, the better your life is going to be.
That's very true. And this brings me to the point where I don't know if our first batch remembers, but in year one, we were talking about subjectivity and objectivity and how most of us as human beings are living in that space continuously. And it's a very dynamic space because sometimes we are able to see things more objectively, and sometimes they're simply not, because maybe our emotions are overpowering us, right? So how do we deal with that? And I think it would be really, really awesome if we can hear from Ashfaq as well. How does a sports person deal with emotions, and how do you build grit? Ashfaq, are you here?
Yes, Sandra. So, extreme sports, especially endurance sport, is too much emotional, is what I would say. To an extent that, it will do a complete burnout at one point. And the factor that, like I said, you understand everything is there and I can finish it, but still you would say that, this is it, this is the point, I should give up. So you're able to train your mind and ask it to come out of those biases and then work on completion. That would make a lot of sense, because let's say you have I'll give you my example of my full marathon, wherein I had done 25 to 30 kilometers comfortably in my training days. And then post that, I have never tried. I don't know how it goes. So to get that mind trained after, it's possible that you are able to do it, and to push it, requires a lot of emotional strength one should have. If your body would have given up completely, the pain would have reached its maximum level. And at that time, pushing your emotions and saying that, I can't stop at this, I need to take it further, requires a lot of emotional strength. And that's when emotions comes into play, is what I can say.
Yeah, so again, coming back to awareness and awareness of emotions, and how do we turn them from negative into positive? And I think that is kind of the key. And it is about practice and therefore building grit. Would I be right to sort of conclude on this question this way? I hope, is there something that anyone would like to add with regard to this particular question? How do we build grit? All right. Moving on to the next one, which is equally interesting. And this is more aimed at designers, but again, Ashfaq, you're coming in from your point of view, and that's something that we can look at. So how does designing a better service experience enhance an emotion? Those of you who have worked with service design, to what extent did you need to take into account an emotional impact onto a user? Who would like to go first? I would say Josh had given us a very interesting presentation on that particular project. I think you can expand on that specific question.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Can somebody articulate that question again for me?
Yes. How does designing a better service experience enhance emotion?
So let's say I'll give you a very, very rough example. Let's say you go into a restaurant and the waiter or the guy who's serving you is treating you badly. Would you still be sitting there, or would you have an experience of your lifetime saying, oh, I would love to be treated badly, and I would love to not have a great service. So that's exactly what I think products, apps, anything for that matter, kind of evokes. Like the minute you get in onto a website or use a product, if it's badly designed and if it's not ergonomical or if it's not user friendly, you immediately move into the emotional bit, which is getting angry, getting anxious, getting irritated. I think that is important, and you have to put a consumer at ease. Like I think most of the times when we were working on a project on a fintech, most of the times the users get nervous when they're making a payment, and if there is a delay in the payment and if it says loading, they really get nervous. Like they're worried whether the payment has gone through or not. Or when you're booking a flight ticket and then it says you will get confirmation in like few minutes, so you're like anxious to know whether it's gone through or not. I think that is the sensitivity that a designer needs to apply while designing any product, like maybe a physical product or a digital product or any of those things. I think to understand, like how Muki said, right, to empathize, to be aware of what the consumer or a customer would go through, is critically important for us as designers to implement that back into the product. I think that's what it is. A smoother experience is a better emotional output for a consumer, is what I feel. I don't know whether I've asked the question or not, but
yeah, perfect. Could you give us the most effective methodology you have used in the past to actually gain this kind of an insight? When we're talking about research and obviously researching the impact that we may cause, what is the most effective research methodology that you have used?
So research, so there are two types of research. One is the quantity and the quality of it, right? The quantity is like out of 100 people, 50 people like this and 50 people like the other counterpart. But what we as individuals, as designers and as thinkers want to concentrate on, we would love to concentrate on, is the quality of information. Is what exactly the other person is saying, and to understand and read between the lines. So I'll give you an example. Like we were building a fintech brand called Rapid Rupee, and it was a small lending company from Russia. So none of them understood, what money meant to Indians and, what it means and so on and so forth. So while we were researching, it came out that how South Indians look at money and borrowing money is very, very different from how a North Indian would borrow money. So out of the research, we immediately told that you don't have to worry about payments when it comes to the southern region of the country. They might default, but they will end up paying the money back. But in the north segment, I don't know. You'll have to really keep a check on collecting your money back and so on and so forth. And it was on point. The kind of communication that they built towards the north was different. The kind of communication that you were building for the south was different. The app journey, the user journey of the app was different. The touch points that the brand kind of enabled for the consumer was different. So I think it's very important to understand and really read between the lines in terms of what a consumer is saying and what actually he means. I think it's very critical for a company like us, and we build products. We are a product packaging company, and and decisions are made in seconds and minutes. When a consumer is walking through the aisle and he or she sees the product and decides whether to pick it up or not. So you need to really, really talk to them in a very insightful manner. So research is very critical, and the quality of research defines the quality of design. That is what actually puts you in the front runner when it comes to creating effective designs, in terms of product and services as well.
I would totally agree with that. So it really is about how deep and how close you get to your research subjects. and how deeply you develop that empathy point and understanding of your user. Thank you, Joshua. Muki, would you like to add to this?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. What Joshua said absolutely makes sense. The core of service design is removing friction points. So what does it mean? Every service, when you are as a consumer, you're going to experience, has got a lot of friction points at various levels. So focusing on a service design means removing friction points wherever possible. So I would go back to what Steve Krug, you asked a methodology. There are multiple methodologies available. One of the methodologies we can look at is don't make me think approach, where Steve Krug talks about every time when all the examples people gave about difficulties in ordering in a fintech, when you're about to pay, there's a lot of anxiety built up, right? So there's a lot of emotions. So it's important as a service designer to make sure that we don't stack questions. The more customer doesn't understand how to do this, which means you have stacked a question. So when you keep on stacking the question, it creates frustration. So as much as possible, like actors, we have to become the character. We have to become the user, which is very hard. And that's where focus, that's where taking your service design and going to customers, potential customers, and making them use it and listen to them carefully. Observation is a key, is what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Muki. Ashfaq, any thoughts on this? From a sportsman point of view. So would you want as a sports person some kind of a okay, I'm guessing when we're talking about service experience, service design, we are talking about digital here, or digital experience. Would you want any specific experience to be enhanced? And let's go back to technology. You mentioned Strava. So I would want you to sort of articulate what are the feelings, what are the emotions that sort of help you by connecting to the community in Strava. What is it that would keep you going more? What perhaps can you think of a feature that you could use in order to gain greater motivation when connecting with your community and training?
Yes. So when you talk about Strava, it's almost like a Facebook for regular user, right? Strava is a Facebook for the sports personalities. So one thing is getting connected to another sports person, and the second thing is you can find a coach there, you can find a beginner there. So there are all kind of people available. So I would not suggest anything what improvement can be done on Strava, but I would say the usage of itself is such a beautiful thing to do for any sports person. So when you talk about design and how it changes the emotion of a person, I would comment on what the bike computers and the digital watches what we wear to record our activities. So initially, when we started, we were just looking at how much speed you're going, what's the kilometer covered, and basic information, right, and the time taken. So now there are watches, there are digital instruments which give out a whole lot of information. On the cycles, you can put out power sensors, you can put out cadence sensors, which reads how much power you're putting on to cycle, which gives an idea on how much you can improve, how much you have to build your muscles on leg muscles or your core muscles, so that you can push yourself harder. So those kind of information, let's say digital information which is provided, gives a lot of output for an athlete, and they can
Could you just repeat that, that last sentence, please? We didn't hear you. Last sentence.
So I was saying, all these small information on digital media provides a lot of input for an athlete, and emotionally it supports in a way. I will give you an example. When we are in midway through the race, we see how much we have done, and in the training we have understood what our body capacity is. So we see that information in our watch and in our digital meter, and then we try and train our mind, and we try and tell ourselves to go further. The same with the speed. If you have done 6 kilometers pace on the run, when you actually on the race day, you try and push yourself harder because you know what you have done. So these digital instruments play an important role. I'm sure it is evolving from what I saw 5 or 6 years back and what it is now. It gives a lot of your heart rate, your VO2 max, and tons of information. So actually, when I stepped into my gym yesterday, it showed me that your fitness level is recovering. The load is minimum. So which means, I have not been giving enough input to my body. I have not been giving enough load. I was not being running or doing anything from past 2 days. So it detects that, and it is telling you that you have to get up and start moving. So those are kind of information or things which would help an athlete to a maximum extent.
Very true, very true. Thank you for those insights. I hope all of our students who are here in this webinar are sort of making notes and listening to all of this, because this is very important insight in terms of measurement. All right, as the last, well, not exactly a question, but I would request all of our speakers here, including Pratik and Shubhamay, I'm going to open a small. If you can give us like a small point of view on this last topic. Every single one of you has had a journey through nutrition, right? And change the point of view on nutrition. I would like you to share what that journey was, and how much does nutrition influence performance in sports, since we are talking about sports and emotion, and how much does it influence our emotions on daily basis? I might have opened a can of worms here, or a Cleopatra's box, but I'm sensing that that everyone would like to speak about this. And so how does nutrition connect with sports and with emotions overall? Over to whoever wants to take this up first.
Can I?
Sure, please.
Nutrition plays, I would say, 50% of a role in any sports activity. I can give my example. When I started off with long distance cycling and all that, I used to carry water and maximum lime water or lime juice and some salt in it. So what used to happen is, after a certain distance, let's say after 50 or 60 kilometers, you start getting cramps and you don't understand what is happening. Cramps happen because of lack of nutrition or lack of training, both reasons. So when you have trained enough and on the race day when you're getting cramps, it means you're not providing enough fuel to your body. So that's when you have to understand what your body requires, what your mileage is. If you have so much food, what that food provides as an output. So if I eat a banana, what would happen to my body? If I eat an egg, what would that do to my body? So understanding that makes a lot of sense, and different people have different kind of mileage. So nutrition is not same to everybody. It differs, and it differs from one sport to another. If you talk about nutrition for swimming, it's completely different from nutrition for cycling because both uses different muscle groups. So we use kind of gel packs. Fasten up gel packs is what I use. I think I have it here. I can see it. So we carry this. It's kind of it's like eating a banana, basically. In banana, it would take some time for your body to absorb and put it into your bloodstream. But this one just gives you instantly to your bloodstream when you eat it. And the way this is designed, see the look of it, I can just on the go, I can bite and pull it off and suck through it. So the design of making this packet also makes a lot of sense when I look into it. And different people have different kind of energy nutrition inputs which they do on different sports. So it is a must, and it is important thing is what I would say.
Thank you. Muki, and I'm going to call you guys out because Muki has his own journey and a very, very strong point of view on this. So I would request you to talk a little bit about this. You're really, really dedicated to this subject. I know this. And Pratik, as the designated foodie of CMR School of Design, I would request your point of view as well. And so let me repeat this. So nutrition, emotion, sport performance, and so on. So let's make this connection.
You said strong opinion, right? So see, my journey of understanding body happened when my daughter got cancer. And of course, I lost her. And then my wife died. So I learned a lot. So over the last 9 years, my life has changed upside down. Now, it's very important to go to the basics. All sports are created by human beings, whereas the body is created by nature. We are never taught that. So any form of sports, whatever we argue, whatever we say, is an extreme which the body cannot take beyond a level, right? So you can walk, but you can't run beyond a level. So when you push yourself, push your body too hard, based on whatever the sport you are playing, your body is bound to fail. And to increase that is where all these nutrition, supplements, and all the drama comes in. So why I'm saying drama? Because it's all to push your performance level. See, there is only so much a human being can do. But you can say that Carl Lewis can run faster, but right now nobody realizes where Carl Lewis is, what he's going through. For example, I met one of the top-notch cricketer in the country. I don't want to name the person. So I went there, spoke about fruits and various other things. So when he asked me, he said, what do you do? I said, I've been doing yoga for 30 years now. He said, I wish I learned more about yoga. I asked him why. And he said that he's got 22 implants in his body. And it takes around 2.5 hours every day, 22 implants, 22 implants in his body. It takes 2.5 hours for him to get up from the bed because there are 2 physiotherapists giving him physiotherapy as of today. He has stopped playing right now. So this is one of the top-notch Indian cricketer I'm talking about. So I've met many athletes like that. So there are many athletes who come to me and ask me. For example, there is one of the great marathon runner, also a long distance runner who's a barefoot runner. He runs for 120 kilometers barefoot. So the first thing he asked me, how do I fix my problem? I said, there is no way you can fix your problem. You have to stop running. Because see, there is a group called Raramuri, used to be there in Southern America. And they were the guys who were supposed to be the fastest runner in the world, barefoot. And they are one of the guys who invented the idea of slip-ons. With that, you can run faster. So coming back to this, nutrition in normal life is very important. We lack awareness. We understand about AI, technology, this, that, everything. but we have
We don't
iota
understand
clue
what we're
of,
supposed to eat.
don't know anything about our body. People may say, so including the most doctors, just to tell you that Indian doctors average, they live for 57 years. So you can imagine the state of health we are in. So I will rest my point there.
All right. Thank you. That is a strong opinion. Okay. So let's see if Pratik has something to add to this.
Yeah. Hello. So yeah, completely agreeing with your point. Whatever. So again, I have a very strong opinion because it's been last 5 to 6 years. I have completely changed my lifestyle, and I've seen a phenomenal change in terms of your performance, the very good sleep. I'm completely against putting anything artificial in my body that includes any proteins and also I'm following the way of naturopathy. So I feel, and also very recent incident, my mother was hospitalized, and we went through the whole experience of the doctors and the kind of the understanding they have about the person. Usually, they all go by the books, but in the naturopathy, the way they say right, every human body is so different. You cannot treat everything in the same generic way. Like every medicine cannot work for every person. So first of all, understanding that, and again, the same thing also goes with the food. Each and like every food is not meant for everyone. So how do we understand that? Are we allergic to anything? Are we feeling lazy after eating certain foods? So so for me, it's completely different. Again, coming from I'm a Jain, so our family ethics are also been very different, and I feel. Most of the things maybe I'm not able to make a comment on the things what protein do to your body, or because I'm not not got into sports, but I've seen people where they, because of this all this artificial food, this kind of a side effects they have got into. One of my very close relative had the same issue by eating these protein powders. So yeah, so personally, I feel stay natural as much as you can than relying on any artificial food.
And that makes us also feel nicer, right? We're less cranky, I
Absolutely.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
More sugar, more crankiness.
Yeah.
Shubhamay, would you like to add to this? Shubhamay is not okay. Shubho is there. Josh, I know for a fact that you have undergone a journey, especially during COVID. I remember you sharing that part of your life and how much it has actually changed you. And definitely this influences the emotional state of mind as well. Do share your point of view.
So I've always been a thin kid, like very lanky, very thin. And, when I started moving out for a job and started seeking opportunities outside, I was very excited. And you don't get to eat foods from outside when you are a South Indian, when you're at home, your mother never allows you to eat outside because it's unhealthy and whatnot. And of course, I had all the cravings, so I traveled to different places for work. I ate the most unhealthy foods, and you could immediately see my body transform. And I'd put on like 85 kilos. I was feeling weak, and I didn't know what to do about it. And so it's a cycle. Like you feel bad and you eat, and then it starts putting on more weight. And during that process, then I kind of look back, and what my sister and my dad would constantly do is when she had to perform, or when she had a race, they would kind of alter the nutrition. They would kind of eat different. They would kind of put different things in their body. So after a long time, I realized food is actually a fuel. Like how you think, what you do, and how it makes you perform is very important. So So over the years, over like, past 16 years, I've lost weight, I've put on weight, I've lost weight, I've put on weight. And, nutrition has played a very, very important role. And especially when it comes to sport, I think it's very, very important that you eat the right kind of nutrition. Yes, of course, all natural. And food is 50% when it comes to playing a sport. And I think also to reduce your cortisol levels, like to be calm, to be in a good space. And certain kind of foods will help you be in that state. So that's what I think. I think food is very, very essential to your well-being. Eat natural, respect your body, what you put into your mouth. I think we know more about the universe than about our own bodies in terms of what is happening. And I think you have to be very careful in terms of what you put in, as in when you kind of experience difficulties when it comes to, maybe playing a sport or getting into an injury. I think food kind of really changes a lot. And when Pratik said, yes, food is very different for each one, it is very different. Like how a banana would react to me and how a banana would react to my wife is very different. Like how it increases insulin, how we kind of react eating spicy food or tasty food or sweet. It kind of, changes from person to person. So I think it's important to know your food. Really, really put some thinking and thought into what you put in your mouth. And of course, if you want, your body to run like a rocket, you have to put rocket fuel. You can't just put, garbage in it, is what I think. So nutrition is like rocket fuel. Like you need to put the right kind of stuff for your body to function.
And not only to function, but also to make us feel differently, right?
Yeah. I think function is to feel different, feel energetic, feel the basic functions are we are supposed to feel the way we are supposed to feel, right? So I think it's very, very critical to eat the right kind of foods.
Yes. All right, we have talked about so many different things today. It's absolutely amazing how we actually managed to stay on track, more or less stay on time. And I'm really, really grateful to every single one of you for joining us here today and sharing an amazing point of view and your experiences and a lot of very useful insight, and also sort of shared how closely emotions are connected with both design as well as sports, and how much things can change when either one of these aspects are on a positive or a negative, right? And how very dynamic this space can actually be, and how many different influences take place in this triangulation. It has been a very broad topic that we have set in place: design, sports, and emotion. And I'm so glad that we've gone in so many different directions and yet came back to very specific points which are useful, I hope useful to every single one of our attendees and audience here. Thank you so very much. I'm really hoping that we can repeat this more often with different topics that we can possibly explore under Let's Get Emotional, because while 29th of June is the World Industrial Design Day, and it was very, very important that we all connect today, I'm really hoping that we can do this in the future and perhaps explore a different side of Let's Get Emotional with another domain connected. Thank you all very much, and see you all soon. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. See you guys.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.